Jojo review. So, we finally learn Mista's whole backstory, which is great, because ever since I was introduced to all these new characters, Mista has been my favorite. The premise of him is that he just dislikes everything that has to do with the number 4, which I thought was very random and funny, and I liked to see a little bit more of the backstory of what that could all be about, why he has this complex for good and bad luck. Oh, I was not disappointed. He has an awesome backstory, like legitimately. But I'll go over it bit by bit, because honestly, I think the backstory is probably my favorite part about this whole episode. Granted, the way that he beats the villain is also really cool, but his backstory was just really, really cool. So Mista has always lived a simple life. He didn't want to overthink anything, because he says overthinking complicates your life and it makes you unhappy. And it makes me reflect on my own life. One day he comes across this car that's just parked on the side of the road, and this girl is being raped and punched while she's being raped. It's just kind of silly, because like you're putting in all this effort in your hips just to rape her, and then you're gonna be so tired by the time you're finished. I won't get into the logistics of punching a woman while raping her. Mista sees this and he instantly acts. He opens the door and like punches the dude so hard in the damn gut he throws up. And then this big bad dude pulls out a gun and fires 2 shots at Mista. Like everything about this scene, the animation of how they showed it, the shots, the narration really got to me, because it was like, ooh, sometimes when somebody's scared or panicked, they just fire shots and don't bother to aim. Just because someone is close to you doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily hit them when you fire. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And all of those shots that the dude fired at him just right under his arm, didn't hit him at all. Of course, the dude starts freaking out, because, you know, he's like, what? And then his 2 buddies pop out of the car, and I was a little bit like, you were just, like, sitting there while the dude was raping a girl. I mean, maybe they were also getting off on it. I'm not going to judge these people. They start firing at Mista as well, and all the shots are just zooming past him Matrix style. He's not even moving. He's not even moving, and the shots do not hit him. Mista, he calmly goes up to the first guy who shot at him and steals his gun and calmly puts the bullets in the gun while they're shooting at him. They can't hit him, and he fires at all of them. 4 perfect shots into these 3 bad guys. When I was first watching the scene, seeing the bullets fly at him, and the narration was going 1 bullet missed, 2 bullet missed, 3 bullet missed, and I was thinking, oh my god, the 4th bullet is gonna hit! The 4th bullet is gonna hit Mista, and that's why 4 is such an unlucky number! But no. That didn't happen. The direction they went was an even more interesting direction, and it's one that I didn't even notice at first. I went through watching the rest of the episode the first time I watched it, and I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, why is 4 an unlucky number? Like, none of the bullets hit him. And he fired 4 perfect shots at 3 guys. He only, I mean, technically, if you're firing perfect shots, you only need to fire 3 shots, right? Because you can just headshot them all. And now they're all dead. You don't need to fire an extra one. And Mista has kind of explained why he doesn't like the number 4 in the previous episode when he was introduced. It had to do with these kind of ridiculous flashbacks of ever since I was a kid, everything that had to do with the number 4 always turned out badly for me. And you had like these silly examples of why. But we get introduced to him at the age of 17. And, it's obvious that he's not living a superstitious life, because he doesn't, it's stating in the narration that he doesn't like to think that much about life, because he wanted to live life simply. And you're not necessarily living life simply if you're worrying about superstitions all the time. So it's really this event that eventually led to him being more superstitious. And I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, wait a minute. This is the first time he's ever killed anybody. 4 bullets that he shot killed those 3 guys. Maybe the reason why he thought the number 4 would always bring chaos and destruction to everything is because this event was actually traumatizing to him. It was a very life-changing event, and just because he saved the girl, and he did do the right thing at the moment, he saved the girl who was being raped, and the guys attacked him, and he acted out of self-defense. It was the right thing to do, but everyone deals with this type of situation in their own little ways. And I think that's kind of an interesting way to go about it. I don't know if that was the intent behind this scene, but it made me think for quite a while. As you can tell by my time talking about this flashback scene. That's not even the whole episode, it's just the first, 2 minutes of the episode. Oh man, I really should get into the other parts of the episode. Okay, where we left off last, he's pointing the gun at the driver, he said, "Eat lead," and, we had the to be continued as if he was going to shoot the driver, who we all know is not the bad guy. But then, last second, turns the gun towards the top of the truck, there's the bad guy, and shoots at him. And it's a perfect headshot. So he's looking up on top of the truck, and the dude is on the ground, but then, ooh, he gets up, and he has a wound from his head, where it should have been a perfect headshot. So Mista's thinking, wait a minute, why is he dead? Did I miss? What the heck happened? He fires 3 more, and that's when we get introduced to his stand, which I believe is, Kraftwerk? I think it's Kraftwerk. You kind of have to listen hard to them. I also don't know some of the bands that they reference sometimes. I think Kraftwerk is supposed to be a German band. He has the ability to fix things in their place so they can't actually move. And what happens is Kraftwerk deflects the bullets that he fires at him and locks them into place. And the bad guy mentions, "Hey, you're out of bullets now, aren't you? Because you fired 6 at me." Uh-oh. And Mista decides, okay, I should get off this truck. But when he goes to let go of the handle, he notices that his hand is stuck there. And he turns at the driver. He's like, "Stop the truck." And the driver is stuck driving the truck. So he already used Kraftwerk to stick both of them in place and stop them from moving anywhere. The reason why he did this was so that he couldn't reload his gun. Now, granted, Mista still finds a way to reload his gun. He drops some extra bullets in there using a little trick, and he shoots another bullet and it aims at his neck. But, he's able to stop it from actually penetrating through him. After this, he falls off the truck, and Mista is still going. He climbs up to the roof of the truck as the driver's still kind of driving. And it's kind of funny, because throughout this episode, he threatens the driver. "Drive the truck! Stop the truck! Drive the truck! Stop the truck!" Driver's over here like, "I don't know what you want me to do!" Mista's on the roof of the truck, and he's reloading his gun, and he notices he only has 4 bullets left, and he doesn't like that, because he's like, 4 is a bad number. But he does put the bullets in anyway. We come around this corner, and the bad guy is back, and he's just floating in place, which I think is really cool. And he does something that I also think is really interesting. He throws out some pebbles towards the truck, and they fix in place in the air, and he starts grabbing onto the pebbles to move himself forward, like creating a little bridge for yourself to move yourself towards the truck. He takes out one of the bullets that he stopped, and he kind of keeps on tapping it, and you don't really know what he's doing at first. Mista fires 2 bullets at him, but it appears that they went out of control and they missed. Meanwhile, this bullet that he's been tapping is actually building up force, and once he lets it go, it fires straight into Mista's gut, and he hops on the truck. Mista kind of thinks to himself, yeah, should have seen this coming, because I was stuck with the number 4, and the number 4 is always bad. 1 bullet left. And the bad guy has another bullet that he's building up force, and he's kind of explaining how it works. It's not that great, it's not something you could use quickly. It takes a lot of time to build up. It doesn't really have any control over that bullet. He can only point it in a certain direction, but if they move, he's not going to be able to push it towards you. So Mista uses his last bullet, and he has all 3 of his little stands on there. Uses his last bullet, boom, aims for the mouth. because he kind of figured before that if he shoots inside of the stand user, then he wouldn't be able to fixate something from the inside of him. And I guess I could see that. I kind of thought it was going to go in the direction because he still had a wound from fixating the bullet outside of his skin. I thought, oh, what if you shot him in the eye? Like, even if it doesn't go all the way through to the brain, you would still damage the eye and he wouldn't be able to see. You know, you shoot both eyes. And once the user realizes that he's aiming for his mouth, he just straight up opens his mouth and makes it nice and easy for him. And he gets shot right in the mouth, but he is fine after that. He gets up again and he's like, yeah, I figured I'd let you waste your last bullet. And right as he's about to let his bullet go and shoot at Mista, that's when he notices, wait a minute, and there's his little stands right on top of the bullet that he was gonna fire at him. So the bullet fires, he really doesn't have any chance to stop it. And of course Sex Pistols kicks it right back at him. So he gets out of his stand to kind of deflect it, but then they split the bullet into two, so it kind of just goes right around his stand. And that's when he realizes, oh wait, he's using one of the bullet shards to go straight into the same exact spot where his wound originally was. And I wasn't thinking of that at first, but damn, that's smart. Shard of the bullet goes straight into the wound, and it pushes the other bullet that was already there into his skull. And of course, he's down for the count. He's still alive, which is kind of interesting. So far, all the bad guys they've been capturing have been captured alive, and Bruno gave orders to keep them alive. So he uses the truck driver to drive himself back down to the dock, which they were originally at. And it's kind of funny, the truck driver goes on like this whole rant. He's like, I'm not a damn taxi. You know what, the next time somebody comes up and tells me to drive them somewhere, I'm gonna show them what's up. And immediately after, of course, we already knew before that Giorno was going to look for Mista and the guy that they were chasing down. So Giorno gets into the truck, smashes down like the dashboard, and he's like, drive! I'm chasing somebody! And the driver's like, okay. Poor guy. I don't know if that's actually going to lead, it's probably not going to lead up to anything. It was probably just there for the sake of an ending joke. It'd be a little bit weird if he actually ends up taking the truck to the top of the mountain and separates himself, gets separated, gets lost from Mista, who is now at the dock again. So that is where the episode ends. Mista, still my favorite. How do you write a more badass introduction to a character than the idea of multiple people just shooting at him and the bullets just going around him? It's like, damn! Honestly, it did kind of remind me of Pulp Fiction. You know, the opening scene of Pulp Fiction where this guy comes out of the bathroom, shoots at them a bunch of times, and the bullets just don't hit. You look at their clothes and you see the little bullet holes where they should have hit, and look behind and you see the wall, all the bullet holes, but they just didn't hit, and they don't know why the bullets didn't hit them. And it's like, wow, that was a miracle. So thank you for watching my little review here. Having a lot of fun watching. I have more fun watching Jojo than I do with reading it. That's why I didn't want to read the manga. I wanted to just wait for the animes to come out. So remember to leave a comment below. I want to know your thoughts as well. Check out the description for a little thing. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Program restart.